But life is suffering, and then we've also got malevolence. If you don't believe that life is suffering, just look at nature. Everybody wants to free Willy, until he eats Happy Feet. The reality is that Willy is a killer whale, and he eats cute little seals and penguins. My name is Dean Haystack, the Dean, and you're listening to The Coffee Conversation. Life is suffering, and there's also malevolence. If you don't believe me that life is suffering, just look around you. Every single person that you know and love is going to die, many of them before you. You're going to die too. Most people don't die of old age in old age. Most people die of either violence or suffering through an illness or disease. Even in younger age, and those that die in old age die the same. Very, very few people are going to live to the ripe old age of 101 and die peacefully in their beds, go to sleep after having a lovely life. But life is suffering, and then we've also got malevolence. If you don't believe that life is suffering, just look at nature. Everybody wants to free Willy, until he eats Happy Feet. The reality is that Willy is a killer whale, and he eats cute little seals and penguins. That's just life. Life is suffering, and then there's malevolence. Now, malevolence is malicious. The problem with malevolence is that sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's me who's the malicious swine who's hurting somebody else. And where's the malevolence? There is malevolence in this. Because the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of the life, universe, and everything, Douglas Adams, you were wrong. The answer is not 42. The answer is the vaccine. The vaccine is not trusted by many, many people in this world, and we can understand why. It may not be the solution, and even if we get a vaccine, there's another virus coming, and are we going to do the same? Are we so concerned with the preservation of life and stopping people from dying, like this cheesy post says on Facebook, that we've actually stopped living, or that people are making decisions to stop us living? That's the big question. Am I free to refuse the vaccine, acknowledging as myself as a sovereign individual that I'm going to die anyway, and the consequences of waiting for the vaccine are more dangerous than the actual virus? Many people believe that, but we're not allowed to say it. I'm saying it. Or is it going to be imposed that we have to take it under utilitarian rule, under tyrannical rule, under malevolence? Are we going to be forced to take it? How are we going to know who has got the virus, who hasn't? It might be digital to start, but that's quite clumsy, especially in South Africa, where many of the population, being poor, can't get the same devices replaced because theft happens prolifically, as well as the fact that people lose stuff and it gets damaged. So how do you know? Then what do you have to do? Wait until you've got another device, go back to the clinic and get them to reissue that you've got the virus, the vaccine? Or are we free to refuse it? What happens then? If we refuse it, are we allowed to travel? Are we allowed to cross borders? Are we allowed to get into aeroplanes, into buses, into taxis, into cars? Are we allowed to have passengers in our cars if we don't have the vaccine? Can our children go to school? Can I go to work if I'm an employer? Am I allowed to employ people even though I haven't got the vaccine? Or do we just become undesirables that aren't even allowed to go to the shops because we are now the danger and the threat to everybody else? And what's the danger and the threat? If everybody else has got the vaccine, what danger and threat am I to them except to myself? Virus is what the virus does. It's part of the suffering. The virus is manifest. It is spreading. It is hurting many people, and some people are even dying, absolutely. But this is not like the Black Plague in the Middle Ages, where if you walked into a village and they allowed you in, that if you had it, you might wipe out a third to 50% of the village and everybody else was going to get sick. That is not manifesting, yet we are taking the measures that they should have taken, and it's not even appropriate. Life is suffering. We can't avoid death. The ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life seems to not be 42. It's the vaccine. My name's Dean Haystack. I'm just a guy who gives a damn.